There comes a moment when a leader stops being just a leader and becomes a symbol of hope, a symbol of resistance, a symbol of the future. Ibrahim Traoré has crossed that line. Not because he carries weapons, not because he commands an army, not because he stands at a podium with authority, but because he stands with his people, shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart, truth to truth. And when a leader stands with the people stand with him. This is the power the world fears. Not missiles, not armies, not borders. The power of unity. The power of awakening. The power of a continent rediscovering its voice. Traoré didn't rise to rule. He rose to remind Africa of something it had forgotten: its strength. For decades, Africa was told that it was dependent, weak, unstable, broken. But lies eventually collapse under the weight of truth. And Traoré brought the truth back to light. Africa was never weak. Africa was never broken. Africa was never dependent. Africa was simply silenced. Silenced by corruption, silenced by foreign interests, silenced by leaders who traded dignity for comfort, silenced by a world that benefited from African silence. But that silence is over. A new generation is rising, not with weapons, but with awareness, not with bitterness, but with clarity, not with fear, but with pride. They look at Traoré and see someone who speaks their language, feels their struggles, carries their wounds, and refuses to betray their future. This is why he resonates, not because he is perfect, but because he is real. He does not hide behind luxury. He does not bow to pressure. He does not speak to impress the world. He speaks to awaken his people. And they are awakening. From Dakar to Bamako, from Accra to Ouagadougou, from the shores of the Atlantic to the heart of the Sahara, a vibration is spreading. A call, a heartbeat, a reminder. Africa does not need saving. Africa needs space to stand. And Traoré is creating that space. Foreign nations watch in discomfort. They whisper in boardrooms. They panic in silence. Because for the first time in a long time, Africa is becoming unpredictable. Not because of chaos, but because of confidence. And confidence is something they cannot control. Traoré knows the risks. He knows the weight of his decisions. He knows the enemies he creates simply by standing tall. But he also knows this: history never remembers those who bowed. History remembers those who stood. And Africa is standing. Standing with dignity, standing with courage, standing with the unbroken spirit of millions. This moment is not about Burkina Faso alone. It is not about one leader, one speech, one movement. It is about a continental shift, a rising continent finally tired of being underestimated, a rising continent tired of carrying the scars of exploitation, a rising continent ready to reclaim its story. Traoré didn't start this story, and he will not end it. He is simply the spark, the ignition, the signal fire in the dark. And once a fire spreads across a continent, no storm can put it out. The world is watching, some with admiration, some with fear, some with confusion, but all of them are watching. Because they know something is happening in Africa. Something big, something historic, something unstoppable. And Ibrahim Traoré is right at the center of it. This is only the beginning. The real rise is yet to come. But what's coming is not just political change. It's not just economic change. It's not just a shift in leadership. What's coming is a change of identity. For years, outsiders defined Africa, its image, its narrative, its struggles, its potential. But now, Africa is defining itself, loudly, proudly, unapologetically. And this shift is shaking the world. Because the world was comfortable with an Africa that stayed quiet, an Africa that accepted the titles it was given, an Africa that operated inside someone else's blueprint. But the Africa rising today is not following a blueprint. It is writing its own. And every continent, every global power, every nation that once assumed Africa would remain stagnant can feel the ground moving beneath their feet. This is not the Africa of the past. This is not the Africa taught in old textbooks. This is not the Africa seen through foreign media. This is an Africa standing tall, with clarity, purpose, and direction. And Traoré embodies that direction. He is not just speaking for Burkina Faso. He is speaking for every African nation that felt silenced, misunderstood, undervalued. He is reminding Africa of something essential. You are not powerless. You were never powerless. You simply forgot your power. These words alone are revolution. And revolutions do not fade. They grow. Already, young Africans are rising with a new mindset. A mindset that rejects victimhood. A mindset that embraces responsibility. A mindset that sees Africa not as a place of limitation, but as a continent of possibility. Already, communities that were once divided are finding strength in unity. Already, the idea of African sovereignty is becoming more than just a dream. It's becoming an expectation. This is what scares the world. Not war, not rebellion, not conflict. What scares the world is a continent that finally believes in itself. Because a confident Africa cannot be manipulated. A united Africa cannot be controlled. A conscious Africa cannot be deceived. And every time Traoré speaks, that consciousness grows stronger. Every time he challenges the old ways, another chain breaks. Every time he stands firm, another young African learns to stand with him. He has become the reflection of a continent rediscovering its heartbeat, the soundtrack of a rising generation, the voice that echoed in silence until silence collapsed. And now, the stage is set. The people are ready. The movement is alive. The momentum is building. The world is watching. Africa is rising. And the next chapter will be written not in fear, but in power. Because this isn't just the rise of a leader. This is the rise of a continent. A continent that remembers its strength, its dignity, its legacy, its destiny. And Ibrahim Traoré is the spark that lit the fuse. The fire has started. The storm is coming. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what is awakening in Africa now.